Another showdown between Donald Trump and a world leader right in the heart of the Oval Office. This time, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Their sit-down took an awkward turn over whether the plight of South African farmers and claims of genocide from the U.S. president. Now, for more insight into the state of relations between the U.S. and South Africa, we're joined by Abdullahi Boru Halakhe. Sorry about that. You're an Africa Security and Policy Analyst. And I want to start by focusing on that meeting in the Oval Office, how it is playing right now in South Africa, because the media headlines really from all over the world are using the term ambush to talk about Trump's treatment of Ramaphosa. What are your thoughts?
I think ambush is the right word, but at the same time, there are not very many hands that Ramaphosa would have played. I think compared to Zelensky, I think Ramaphosa did well, because all the hands that he had to play was do not come out looking very desperate, do not come out looking terrible. I think the use of business magnates like Rupert and former golfers, I think was a good bit from South Africans, but I think Trump was very prepared. No amount of fact-checking would stop him from saying this is white genocide. But in the overall, I think he came out not looking terribly bad because he needed this.
Yeah, clearly, if you're going to come in there with a pre-produced video like Trump, you have one thing that you want to get across. Okay, let's talk about the commitments or concerns that emerge from today's White House meeting.
I think for South Africa, what they really did not want was for the trade relations to not go very well. Just to give you some numbers, I think two of the major exports from South Africa to the United States are agricultural produce, especially citrus fruits, grapes. That is to a tune of almost 14 billion. They also do export automobile, especially parts. That is slightly over 2 billion. And that combined employs something close to 500,000 people. Wow. You cannot afford to lose that. So he had to do everything to placate the president. He did that very well, but you're playing with a bully. You're not going to win at all.
So how do the U.S. policies, your thoughts on African immigration from a host of nations across the continent, align with Trump's recent actions, such as accepting Afrikaner refugees?
I think that just shows again, President Trump was in the Gulf just a couple of weeks ago, and he said we are not going to interfere in the internal affairs of other countries. Listen, United States has been an incredibly generous refugee receiving countries than many countries, especially for countries like Somalia and, let's say, the Democratic Republic of Congo. But the notion that the people in Democratic Republic of Congo or the people in Sudan who are actually facing genocide are not given chance, but it is a manufactured genocide of white South Africans in South Africa, and they are being given an expedited refugee status, just shows that it doesn't make sense to try and fight with him. But let's be very clear, AGOA has done some good things, but I think it's a tyranny of low expectations. The trade relations between the United States and Africa needs to move away from just selling garments. China has shown the way. You can actually trade and do very well for both the continent and the United States.
Also, what are the key economic interests currently shaping U.S.-South Africa relations? Because try as he did, Ramaphosa had a lot of difficulty getting Trump to focus on trade rather than what the U.S. president wanted to talk about.
Indeed, it's not very easy when the president has set his way, that is President Donald Trump, to try and move him. I think the key ones here really is keeping the agriculture well, but I think because of the business people and the connection with Elon Musk, majority of it, they were trying to pull him in the direction of technology, especially drones, especially trying to fight crime, and the satellite company that Elon Musk owned, Starlink, which according to the South African telecom laws, he cannot have it without having a share by South African government. And those are being ironed out, and most likely it will be allowed. I think technology takes the precedent, but I think the brick and mortar are the agriculture and the automobile.
Let's talk more about Musk, though. For an international audience, of course, he's a South African-born, now American entrepreneur influencing bilateral perceptions and investments. And of course, he was in that meeting, but kind of like a fly on the wall. What does he stand to gain, and how much could he mean to the South African region if he would really take some of his high tech, his SpaceX, things of that nature to that region?
If he does, it really would change. It will be a game changer. He has the president's ear. He's South African. It can be a win-win situation. But I think a lot of the problems that South Africans are facing with the current administration emanates from him. It's not just him. There are a couple of former PayPal who have got employees who have got connections with South Africa, Peter Thiel, Sachs, and others. I think if he decides to play a positive role, it will not only benefit South Africa, it will benefit the entire region. It is a question of, United States being a good partner, because the word that the South African president emphasized was partnership. South Africa and Southern African regions have a lot of minerals that can benefit the United States, not in an extractive way, in a way that benefits both the region and some of the countries, including South Africa, and the United States.
Okay, good stuff. Abdullahi Boru Halakhe, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.